There's a variety of things in Stardew Valley that even though the game really pushes you to do, you don't actually have to do it. For example, if you don't read the community center bundles after you've unlocked the community center, you can't go and see the wizard, and therefore if you don't go to the community center and read the bundles, you don't technically have to do the community center. And things like this in Stardew Valley have always made me wonder what happens if I don't do this or I do this differently. This all happened because one day I accidentally stumbled across one of these things. It'd be the first one that we go through. And I was like, what other things are situational like this that you don't think about because you do anyway? So I thought we're going to test out a bunch of these questions that I've had. But if you have any more suggestions, I would absolutely love to hear them because these are just the ones I could think of immediately. There are some things that it's kind of like if you don't do it, it just doesn't happen situation, and that's not what I'm thinking about. There's some things I have tested that didn't really work out at all that I am going to still keep in these kind of videos because I think it's interesting to see what works, what doesn't work. But let's get into it with the first one. Now, as I said, I stumbled across this first one by complete accident. So what happened is that I was doing a speedrun to talk to Hatmouse. I thought the best way of getting to Hatmouse was to unlock the fishing achievement. So my plan was sleep through day one, go straight to Willy, get the fishing rod, start fishing. But I didn't open my mail during that time in the first run I did of this. So then when I got to Willy, this happened. So what usually happens is when you've opened the letter, you'll go to the beach and then you'll get an immediate cutscene with Willy, which ends up with him giving you the fishing rod. However, if you don't open the letter, then you never get that cutscene. You can go up and talk to him and he kind of welcomes you, but he will not give you that fishing rod until you have opened that letter. And therefore, if you just don't open your mail, you can never fish in your save, which to some is probably actually a blessing. So the second thing I tested was something that one of my friends actually suggested one day when I was streaming. That if you go to the mines for the first time when you have the cutscene with Marlon, what happens if your inventory's full and therefore you can't pick up the sword? So I tested it. I picked up all the furniture in my house and I went to the mines with a full inventory. I actually found this one the most interesting out of all of them. After sitting through the long cutscene, Marlon then says, "Here is your sword." You get the sword as you do when you open up all the other chests in the mine to see the exact same move, the exact same action, and then opens your inventory, as it does when you're fishing, say, and you get a treasure chest, or your inventory is full. And I was like, I'm not leaving it on this, because that would have been a bit of a letdown for me personally. I didn't really fancy getting rid of any of the stuff I had for this rusty sword. So I just dropped it. So if you don't know, in this situation, you can pick up the items in the chest or one of the things in your backpack, and if you click on it and drag it out and drop it, usually it just kind of drops in like the vicinity you are now. So I wanted to see what would happen if I did that exact same thing here. And as you can see, the cutscene finishes. And after the cutscene finishes, you look around, the sword isn't there. Funnily enough, I wanted to take a screenshot of it just to have it as I carried on talking about what was happening. And at the corner of my eye, I saw under that ladder, there's that little grey, kind of like sticking out thing that, to be honest, when I was filming this, thought was a rock. And now I'm thinking back, it actually probably is the sword. And therefore, I'm pretty sure that the sword will appear when you drop it and you end the cutscene, you be in the mines, which is kind of sad because I really enjoyed the idea that it just was invisible and then it kind of just picked up. Kind of made this one a bit anticlimactic in the end. The next one was really hard to test because I really didn't want to do it. However, I've always wondered what happens in this situation. So as you know, Marnie arrives with your chosen pet and then asks if you want to adopt it. And there's the option yes or no. Now, a lot of games give you this kind of decision, and no matter what you pick, you kind of get forced upon the thing. So I assumed that was going to happen here, but I wanted to test it anyway. So Marnie came along, and I said no to the pet. And you literally just don't get a pet. I know it sounds really weird for me to be like kind of so mind blown by this, but there's so many games that this kind of decision isn't something you really get to pick. If you have like a pet or there is something like this, you have that pet no matter what, you know? There's so many things you can just say no, but it forces you to say yes eventually. Or that they're like, oh, you know what, like you might change your mind eventually. But no, if you say no to the pet, you just don't get a pet. You just get a really sad dog bowl or cat bowl in the corner and no pet, which means you don't get the points for Grandpa's Shrine and stuff like that at the end. Also, you don't get a pet, that's just really sad. The final thing I wanted to test was, can you buy the golden clock before you've even started the community center? Now this is a short one because, to be honest, the answer is no. I unlocked the community center because you have to unlock the community center or you can't talk to the wizard. And then I ran straight to the wizard, and you get in there, you talk to him. You can't even access the book, unfortunately. You probably can, you could definitely cheat it in, but you can't access the book until you've completed the community center, because to be able to buy stuff from the wizard you need to have completed the wizard's quest, which comes after community center completion. So unfortunately you can't buy the golden clock until you've done the community center, or I assume Jojo, I assume you still get the quest regardless of the route you've taken. And that is all the what ifs that I am testing today. Please let me know if you have any more things like this or theories like this you would like to see me test, and I will do it. I really enjoyed doing this, and I'm going to try and find some more myself, but as I said, let me know if you have any yourself, and I would love to test some of yours. For more videos like this, hit that subscribe, give it a like, and I will see you in the next one.